Well, this is the engine compartment of a 1966 Ford Mustang Fastback. Fantastic looking engine compartment. Everything is black on the inner fenders, just the way it would have been from Ford. Painted red underneath the hood. There's no indication of any deterioration, any rust whatsoever on the lips of it whatsoever. Radiator core support is original and totally undisrupted. Has a huge radiator in it. Looks like at least a 4-pass. And it's got a electric fan on the front of it, and it also has a aluminum bladed 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like a 6 or 7 blade. I can't really count it from here. Solid fan on the back with a correct shroud for the fan. So it's got a really great cooling system on it. Does have factory. It does have put-in air conditioning on it. You can see everything is fresh. Compressor is absolutely brand new. There's not even any marks on the pulley yet. Condenser is also new for it. The lines, everything, all the associated hardware is just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to find. It has power steering and it has power brakes also. It has a conventional alternator on it that appears to also have been replaced at some point in time recently. There's also a new battery, a new starter solenoid on it. Plug wires are high-temp silicone plug wires, and the distributor is a Unilite billet aluminum distributor on it also. It has a set of cast iron exhaust manifolds on it. They did not go with a set of headers on this. But these are the hypo type exhaust manifolds. The engine is a small block Ford. I really don't know the configuration. It could be a 289, it could be a 302, really don't know. But at any rate, it is a small block. It does have a Holley carburetor on it. Chrome air cleaner, finned aluminum valve pan covers with the black inset on them with the polished fins. Nice dramatic look to it. The motor has absolutely no leaks whatsoever on the top of it. There's no indication of anything around the valve pans or the front of the engine. Water pump, the cover, timing chain cover, none of that appears to have any seepage whatsoever. Fantastic looking engine compartment. Everything is just as fresh and clean as it was when it was new, with the addition of air conditioning. I don't see anything at all out of place. It has dual horns on it, which are the original factory style horns, by the way. Everything on this engine is nice and clean and fresh. It looks like to be a complete fresh rebuild on the entire vehicle from what we see underneath the hood. I don't know what the horsepower output would be, but it would be substantial, 300 and something for sure. The air cleaner is a 14-inch unsilenced Ford Motorsport air cleaner also. Fantastic engine compartment. You cannot find one any cleaner or any nicer or more detailed than this particular one. We'll go around the rest of it and see what we can find there. Well, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and today our guest is a first-generation Mustang. This particular one is a sport roof, fastback, whatever you want to designate it, but a great-looking car and a great color. So let's go over it and see what we can find. Hood fitment is great. You can see that. It's an 1/8 of an inch the whole way around it. Fantastic fitment. The paint on this is absolutely gorgeous. It is not a show quality paint job, nor is it a driver quality. This is certainly much nicer and put on much better than it was from the factory. It's a fantastic job of laying the paint on this car. And again, it doesn't have a foot-deep look to it as a show quality job would. If you took and wet sanded and buffed the car, you'd probably get that same luster out of it, judging from the way the paint is on the car. But it's something that you would not want to mess with. I think I would leave it just the way it is. Fantastic paint job on this car. Ford designation across the front, just the way it would have been. And again, see the gap, the fenders to the hood, just as nice a fitment as you'd ever find. There are no imperfections. I can't see any imperfections in the paint. No dingies, no marks, no scrapes, no scratches, absolutely nothing on the hood surface or the top of the fenders that needs addressed. The headlight buckets And again, the fitment, look how nice the fitment is on them. Grill area, of course we got our horse running around there, our little Bronco, Mustang. Chrome on the grill itself is absolutely flawless. Headlight bucket on this side, same way as the other one. The trim underneath there, there's no chips or marks or dinghies whatsoever from anything being thrown up from the cars in front of you or anything through the years. There's nothing at all chipped up. Front bumper, absolute flawless fitment. Chrome on it is just as fresh and clean as it was when it was new. No one's put their feet up on it through the years. It looks great. The front of it has no bumps or marks on it whatsoever either. Parking lamps, amber, and just as fresh and clean as you'd want. The front fallance on it is, the fitment is absolutely precise, and there's no chips or marks on it or pulls or anything on it. So the front end of this car, looking at it, I don't see anything that's out of place. Everything fitment-wise is lined up the way it should be. There's no imperfections in the chrome or absolutely nothing so far in the paint. This is one of the nicest cars we've looked at as far as fit and finish for a while in the Mustang. So let's go down the side. Maybe we'll find something there, because there's absolutely nothing to tell you negative on the whole front of this car. Absolutely nothing. Okay, driver's side, 289 V8 designation, the way it would have been from the factory. All tin. Look at the fitment, hood to cowl area, to the fender, to the door. Look at this precise fitment. Mustang designation on the side. Correct wiper arms. The blades are argent. They should be polished stainless like the arms, but close. So they'll pass. Trim around the front window. No marks with, it's not a mark, it's a bug. Didn't get cleaned off. Sunshade fade, tinted window in the front, padded dash. I don't see any imperfections, no warpage whatsoever in it, no cracks, absolutely nothing. And where it transitions to the base of the windshield, that's just as fresh and clean and nice as you could ever hope to find. Great car so far. Geez, really nice. The roof is just like a sheet of glass. There's absolutely no imperfections whatsoever in it. Just shines. You could read a newspaper off the ceiling. That's how nicely that one shines. Drip rail. No marks, no dings whatsoever. Absolutely none. Chrome around the wing area is as fresh and clean as it can possibly be. There's no deterioration whatsoever on it. And the trim around the side windows, which are also tinted, chrome on that is flawless too, as is same on the door handles. And it has a set of sport mirrors on it, sport racing mirrors. Again, look at the fitment of this guy. There's a stone chip right there we have to brush touch. Look at the fit. Look how well that lines up. Look how well everything fits on it. Just as nice a fitment as you'd ever hope to find on this guy. There is, I don't know, whatever it is, it's coming off. It's something that splashed up from the road. There's a little bit there. Anyway, it came off with my fingernails. The slats, vent type enclosures that they put on this from the factory, just as fresh and clean as can be. And when you look into it, the screens and the associated chrome trim around them, all of it is just as fresh and clean as you could possibly get. You'll see them in Devin's still pictures. You're not going to see them where he's photographing now, but I'm telling you, they're as nice as fresh as you can get. Trim around the back light. No marks, no dings, nothing, absolutely nothing. It's got a throw down rear seat in it also. Look at this. It's all tin. There's tin everywhere. A little bit of Whatever, somebody ran over something, but it's coming off with my fingernails. Side of this car is just the same as it was on the front, other than a couple little splash things. I don't know what it is, but it comes off with my nail. It's something that just got splashed up from the road. The chrome on the front wheel, I notice, is just as deep and lustrous as can be. On the back one, it is not quite as good. I don't know why, but the chrome on that wheel is just, it's off a little bit. It's polished up as nice as it can be, but it's not. It seems like the chrome suffered a little bit of deterioration on the outer part of the rim, not the center section, the outer part. You probably won't see that in the video either, but Devin will show you in the still photos. Rocker panel moldings, there's no heel marks or dinghies or any distortion whatsoever on it. Nice linearity to it. Obviously, BF Goodrich radial TAs, everybody's choice of a tire on these vehicles. 15-inch road wheels. Ford called them Magnum 500s with the correct style centers on them. So the side of this car is just exemplary to match the front of it. Let's see if we can find some on the back. Okay, the rear section of our little Mustang Fastback. Again, look at the deck lid fit on this guy. That is as nice as you could possibly get one. It just fits absolutely gorgeous. Again, the paint on this car, it's laid on it's so uniform, the finish on this car. And still we haven't found a dent or a scratch or a mark or one chip underneath there from somebody's heel or something getting out of the vehicle. But that's it, one brush touch, and that's underneath the door. Again, the paint is just phenomenal on the car. A little bit of, look, you can't feel it, it's not really patina, but it's a little bit of wear on the chrome around the tail light bezels here. The lenses themselves are nice and clear and shiny. The back section is really nice on it. A little tiny bit of roughness here. We're going to have to wet sand and buff that. I can feel the paint wasn't buffed out as well as it is on the rest of it, but we'll attend to that. Correct Mustang gas filler lid, and these are usually deteriorated. The chrome is usually gone on these bezels around the keyhole for the deck lid, and this one is not. It is fresh and new as it was in 1966 when it was produced. Bumper fitment is absolutely as nice as you'd ever hope to get one. Chrome on the bumper the same way on top as it was on the front. There's absolutely no scuffs or marks or anything. There's no dinghies or anything on the back bumper from someone bumping into anything with it. It does have a set of chrome roll tip exhaust extensions on it, stainless steel. The bumperettes going down to make them are real nice and linear. The valance underneath the rear bumper, absolutely no pulls whatsoever. There's no marks or pulls or distortion whatsoever in it. So we're 3 for 3. We got a whole flawless front end, a phenomenal driver's side. Door lines up, everything lines up just as it should, and you got the same thing on the back end here now. And again, the paint on this thing is really exemplary. One more side. Okay, our last side. Still hunting for something. The passenger side of this, I think, is going to be the same as the driver's side. But again, look at the all sharp tin. No one's made any attempts to modify these fender lips for larger tires or anything. You can still feel the little tabs whenever they were welded together. The inner fender panel to the quarter panel. Everything is just the way it should be. Trim around the back light. Can't feel anything at all on it. Chrome hinged across the top of the throw-down rear seat. It's just as fresh and clean as you'd hope to find too. A lot of times those things are deteriorated. They start to rust a little bit around the hinge area. This is not. Also the carpeting, the vinyl that goes across the back section, that is all just as fresh and clean and new as it was whenever this car was produced. And again, you'll see it in Devin's still photos, but this is as clean and fresh as it was when this car was produced new. These little vent areas in this, and they are functional too, by the way. So, let's see here. Look at the gaps, look at the fitment. Look how linear everything is on this vehicle. And for a Mustang, first gen Mustang, this is phenomenal to find a car with this kind of fitment. Drift rail the same as it was on the other side. Again, tinted window. This is usually deteriorated on these Mustangs too, this frame that goes around the window. It is not. This thing is just as fresh and clean as it was when it was new. Same as the chrome here. Usually there's deterioration and some patina down the side of this. None. There is absolutely zero. Oh, I forgot to mention on the other side, the white whiskers, they're absolutely brand new. The stainless beading where it goes up to the metal on the door, the painted area is just as fresh as you'd ever hope to find. Again, our racing mirror on this side to match the one on that side. Door handle, the chrome is that deep in it. Look at this. That's it. That's all of them. You got the hood fitment, the rear deck fitment, the door on that side, and the door on this side. It cannot fit any better than it does. There's absolutely nothing to go back and readjust on this vehicle. Well, so far anyway. Little stone chip here. I mean, so finite that you're going to have to look to see it. I could feel it, but I really couldn't see it until you kind of pan across it. You can see a little stone chip there. The rest of it is absolutely flawless. Again, look at this. Look at this. Amazing. Mustang designation on it. Nice sharp edges. Again, our 289 designation goes back up to the nose of it where we started before. So we just went over the entire car. I think I found one little stone chip on that side on the rocker panel underneath the door. It's not on the door, it's underneath the door right there. It needs one brush touching. That's it. Couldn't find another single flaw in the vehicle. 15-inch Magnum 500s on it, BFG tires. The paint on this thing, after going around it, it approaches the quality of a show quality paint job. It really does. I think if you, I would leave it alone because it's not going to look quite original if you buff it, but you definitely get more of a luster if you went and wet sanded and buffed this thing. But then I'd leave it alone. The car looks just absolutely phenomenal, just the way it is. It's a first generation Mustang in a sport roof, which is really difficult to find. These vehicles bring more money than a convertible will. They're more difficult to locate than a convertible. This particular one has a small block Ford in it. It says 289. I have no way of proving that. It could be a 302. I really don't know. It does have a 4-barrel on it. It has an aluminum intake on it. It has a set of original style cast iron exhaust manifolds for a set of dual exhausts that go out the back. Phenomenal color combination on it, red and black. And it's available here at Hangsters in Daytona Beach. And we encourage everybody to come down and take a look at these things. You know, we have 40 some up on the website right now. There's 78 cars in the building. So there's this one, obviously, that we're presenting to you now. But there's a whole bunch more that you may have an interest in. So we encourage you to come down and take a look at this particular one. There may be something else that sparks your interest. We really don't know. Deborah's going to give you almost 100 still photos, high resolution, that you can see everything that you and I just went over on this vehicle and really couldn't find anything on this vehicle that we could pick out. So take a look at it. It's here at Hangsters. Fly down, take a look at it in person. Well, this is the interior of our first generation Mustang Fastback sport roof. Headliner absolutely tight as a drum and fresh and crisp as it was when it was new. Sun visors the same way. They've been replaced with absolutely brand new units. Day-night mirror. There's no milkiness or fogginess whatsoever on the glass. That is a day-night mirror. The steering wheel has no cracks or breaks in it. Separations from shrinkage through the years. The center horn ring Mustang, just as nice as can be. The dash itself, when we looked in from the windshield, it even looks better here. I mean, there's absolutely perfect linearity to it. There's no warpage at all. It's still resilient. No cracks whatsoever in anywhere. The trim around the glove box, which big glove box in these guys. is still nice and fresh and clean with the Mustang emblem on the other side. Speedometer nice and clean and clear. The letters are nice and numbers are nice and legible. Bright white, just the way they should be. Trim around the enclosure itself is nice and fresh looking. All your knobs, the chrome on them is nice. It's no deterioration whatsoever. Set of auxiliary gauges. It has an oil pressure gauge, and it also has a water temperature gauge underneath, both with white letters to match the dash. Console, obviously, with the automatic shift. And check this, it does have a opening console glove box in the front of it, just the way they were when they were new. And the seats back, which is a throw down rear seat, flop down, fold down, whatever, it's just as fresh and clean upholstery wise as it was when it was new. The passenger lights, both the passenger side and the driver's side for the rear passengers, are just as bright as can possibly be. You also got a passenger assist on the back of the console here, light, and also there are two lights underneath the dash, so all your interior lights are illuminating as they should when the doors are open. All the upholstery in this car is just totally exemplary. It's just as it was when it was new. There's a nice pad, a nice bounce to the seats. Does have auxiliary air conditioning installed on this vehicle, not from the factory, but this is, I'm going to guess vintage air, but I don't know the actual manufacturer. But it does have two nice chrome vents, one on each side by the kick panels, which, by the way, have speakers in them, and it has some type of an aftermarket radio system in it. Let's see, geez, this thing has so much stuff that's like new. Your door sill moldings, kick panel moldings on whenever you come in. The aluminum on them is just as fresh and nice as you'd ever want to hope to find. All the chrome around your vents for the air to exhaust the vehicle is just as fresh and clean as it was when it was new. The side panels, which are usually warped and deteriorated on these vehicles, those are just as fresh as they were when they were new also. Door panels the same way, molded armrests with the chrome. Mounting brackets just as fresh as they were when they were new also. Inside the doors, fresh and clean. There's no deterioration whatsoever in there, no dirt. Nice resilient rubbers all around. Everything has been replaced as far as weather seals go. Disc brakes, it says on the brake paddle. We'll know once we get underneath it, get a little better look at what our brake system is. Has a set of Mustang mats front and rear in this vehicle also. It has the loop style carpeting just the way it would have been when it was new also. Seat belts front, and I don't see any in the rear. I don't think they even put them in these cars back then in the rear. But it does have a complement of seat belts in the front. So everything in this vehicle, your window cranks, door actuators, everything is just as fresh and clean as it could ever be. All the chrome is just nice and lustrous. Again, the wing area here, these are usually deteriorated all the heck, and this one is not. It's just as though it was brand new. Both sides, same way. I don't see anything on the outside or the inside of this car that you could pick at. This is as nice a first generation Mustang that I've seen in a long period of time. It's a fantastic looking car, fantastic. Take a look at it because it's here at Hangsters and it won't be here too long. So get a chance, take a look at this guy. Okay, we're first shot. I even got a chance to sit in this. Our first generation Ford Mustang, fastback, sport roof, whatever you want to call it. Horn. I know the horn works. Everything's working good in it. Turn signal. Ford chose to have one light for the turn signal left. Now turn signal right. Okay, working both of them. Gas gauge showing a quarter of a tank. Jeff put a little bit of fuel in here for us so we don't run out. Oil pressure showing about 55 pounds oil pressure. Temperature just starting to come up over here. And I think both gauges are working by the looks of it. But that one definitely down there is definitely working. Let's see, air conditioning. You can hear it kicking on. The motor just slowed down here. Compressor kicked on and it's starting to blow cold. So we definitely have air conditioning in this car, which is a great addition to the car, especially down here in Florida. because the temperatures during the day always exceed 150. So definitely need air down here in Florida. The only place that's hotter is maybe the African Sudan, but I'm not sure. Oh, wipers. I almost forgot wipers. We've got to do something with wipers. What have we got there? There we go. The wipers out there functioning as they should. Radio. I don't know about radio. We don't mess with radios anyway, but we'll see. Devin, you have any idea how this thing works? It's lighting up. It's not making any noise, but it's lighting up, so probably works. It's just operator trouble here, that's all. But okay, you can see the gauges are functioning as they should. They definitely, water temperature's coming up. It's about 175 degrees now. We're going to go for a ride, see what this guy runs like. Wow, nice tight car. Steering box on this thing was new, but look at this, down the road straight as an arrow. Just as nice we still don't have a nice car. Let's see, there's nobody behind us. Let's see if we can do brakes, no hands. Yep, drops straight as an arrow. Nice tight steering on it, nice resolution to it. You can see the car turns. I mean, you move it an inch and the car goes any direction, and you point it. Devin did get the radio working too, by the way. Devin, how'd you do that? Just turn it on. So the radio does work. We usually don't do radios. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. That guy does work. Speedometer working as it should, as you can see. Temperature up on both gauges. How about that? So both gauges are functioning as they should. You can see it's running nice and cool, 180 degrees, I think. Nice tight car. There's not a shake or shimmy or vibration, nothing. So, I don't know. About as nice a Mustang as you're ever going to find, especially first generation. See, the car runs and drives just like it should. I mean, nice firm, crisp shifts. Squawk the tires going into second gear. It's a nice, strong running small block Ford. Whether it's a 289 or a 302, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's just a tight, nice, solid, straight running car. You can't get it. I mean, this thing is, the resolution is so strong on this steering that you got it there. I got it centered just as nice as can be now. Still not touching it. I'm going to have to pretty soon. Yeah, there we go. This is a nice, tight first generation Mustang. There's not a single little thing. You see it's running cool as can be, and it literally is 100 degrees out here today. I say 150, but it literally is 100, and it's about 180 some degrees it's running. The air conditioning does function. You saw the radio works. So everything in this vehicle functions as it should. There's not one thing that we have to address. There's no panels to adjust. There's no paint to address. There's absolutely nothing. Whoever gets this vehicle is going to get a vehicle that's just absolutely ready to go. And what's really neat is this is just the way we got this vehicle too. I mean, we didn't have to spend money doing this or fixing that or whatever so far. Everything that I can see, unless Donnie finds a bulb or something out that isn't functioning outside, I don't know. But I know just from driving this vehicle, you can see that it is absolutely flawless. Nice car. Take a look at it. It's here in Daytona Beach at Hangsters. Thanks, Gary. This is a nice car. Okay, this is the undercarriage of our first generation Mustang. A fantastic fastback car. Everything's new. Everything was new upstairs. Everything's new downstairs there too. Big heavy duty sway bar on it. New bushings for your radius rods too. New steering box. New pitman arm. New idler arm. New tie rod ends. New ball joints. Disc brakes in the front. New calipers. I mean new. New rotors, nice and thick and fat. New backing plates. You can see this engine has been out and completely fresh, and the paint's not even discolored on it anywhere. It's very, very well done. No leaks whatsoever on the engine itself, or the bell housing area, or the transmission. C4 tranny in it. Wow, every bushing on this car has been replaced. Absolutely every one. Sway bar links, they're also new. The frame sections, subframe sections, there's no, a little tiny mark here from, again, you know, being jacked through the years, another one here, just jack marks. Torque boxes just as fresh and nice as I've ever seen on a first generation Mustang. Literally the best I've ever seen on one. They look like they absolutely are brand new. This car, totally amazing how well it's done. The subframes themselves, obviously there's no issues whatsoever with that. The cooling lines for the tranny still hooked up in original steel the way they should be. We call them 2-inch pipes that go from the cast iron manifolds to an H-pipe system, which is a good addition to any exhaust system, and terminate into 2 under chassis mufflers. I'm going to call them 2-inch. Floor pans themselves, there's no undercoating on them. You can see the finish on them is a semi-flat black. All your plugs in the floor are all rubber and still intact, just the way they should be. Let's see, what else we got? Brake lines are replaced with a brand new set of lines, brand new parking brake cable and associated hardware. Everything is all new on that. New U-joint in the drive shaft front, new U-joint rear. There's no leakage whatsoever, not on the speedometer drive, not on the tail shaft, transmission. The whole drive line is totally leak-free. Absolutely no leakage whatsoever. Really nice set of subframe connectors on this guy. I don't know what manufacturer they are, but they're really a great set of welded-on subframe connectors that give it the rigidity of a full perimeter frame. These ones are, instead of being rectangular shaped, they're tubular, but they serve the same purpose. Fantastic looking set of subframe connectors. The rear subframes and the floors, I'm going back through here, there's absolutely no deterioration whatsoever. All nice, fresh tin. The subframe connectors where they transition on to the rear section of the subframe have a set of traction bars hooked to them, kind of like a Shelby style traction bar. The shocks in the front were new, the shocks in the back are also brand new, still have the original paint on them. The subframe in the back, absolutely no deterioration at all. I mean, none. Where they go back along the sides of the gas tank. Gas tank appears to be either new or a replacement. We can't. It could be the original one too. I can't really tell, but it's in excellent condition. There are no denser marks whatsoever on it. And one little tiny dinghy right here, but that's it. Leaf springs have a nice curvature to them yet. Both sides are nice. The spring shackles in the back are nice and fresh looking. There's no deterioration or oxidation on the subframe sections in the rear. For the leaf springs, the drop downs are nice and fresh. They still have those little plugs in the bottom of them for drainage. The same with the quarter panels. They still have their little drainage siphons on them the way they came from the factory. And again, all the brake lines are new on this thing. 8-inch Ford rear. I don't know if it's posi or not yet. We'll find out, but it is definitely a Ford 8-inch rear. Wow, this thing is it's a new Mustang underneath, just the way it was on top too. The whole car is just as new as you could possibly find. The only thing that we found on this body anywhere was one little tiny stone chip for a brush touch, and that's it. And I mean tiny. I mean like less than 1/8 of an inch, a 1/16 of an inch in diameter. That's all it is. You can hardly see it. Brush touch, and that's it. Undercarriage, again, no leakage whatsoever. All just as fresh and nice tin as you'd ever hope to find. Where they transition on to the rocker panels, it's put together just the way Ford did, little pinch welds and little welds along it. Everything on this vehicle is absolutely as fresh and new as you could ever hope to find. I'm really excited about this car. It's difficult to find these in the first place, and then to find one in this condition. Gary located this one for us, and really happy to have it on board. You know, this is a fantastic piece of automotive history that everyone is always in search of. You know, everybody wants a fastback Mustang. There it is, and you're not going to find a nicer one, and it's here at Hanksters in Daytona.